Yo, what is up everybody? Today we are going to go over the brand new Green Defender EX Kuzan guide. This is going to cover everything there is to know about him, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy. As always, he's an absolute monster. He destroys, and if you have not familiarized yourself with his skills and traits, please take a look right at this moment, as you will be able to familiarize with his skills and traits as we will be diving in straight to his other stuff. So let's get started. Okay, first things first is the stat recommendations. Honestly, some people have been asking me this here and there, so I really do think your best bet is HP defense. Now, some of you may be like, Roman, he can turn into an attacker. Why wouldn't you build attack on him? Well, when you turn into an attacker, if you are above 70% HP, you are able to ignore defense. If you ignore defense, then you're generally good from there, because damage increase in damage reduction is not going to be a different factor, so it doesn't matter if you have attack built. Damage reduction is just kind of like negligible at this point of where the game's at. So full HP, full defense, stack those out as much as you can. If you can get 70% HP, 70% defense, that's your goal, and you can top off on whichever one you choose. HP or defense, either one will work. It's up to you. So whichever build you choose, I think that is going to be the best for him. Alright, next, let's talk about his pros. What makes Kuzan good? Now, a lot, actually. So he has a defense buff that goes up to 70%. He's immune to status reductions, so like attack reduce, defense reduce, any of that when he's on the enemy flag. So that's playing his attacker role is only when he has that. When he's playing defender, that's a different story. You have a large amount of heals based off your skills. It goes off your skill damage, which is all percentage health based. That's kind of the next thing, is all of his skills are percentage damage. So it doesn't matter how much HP, how much defense, how much damage reduction. Percentage damage does percentage damage. There are a few characters out there that are resistant to percentage damage or heal it back, but those are far and few between. Next, you have the ability to ignore defense because of percentage damage, as I said, so an HP doesn't matter, so that's a perk that you have. You have the ignore defense on your basic attacks, as I said, when you're above 70% HP when you're in attacker form. You can charge the flag while enemies are on it when you're in defender mode. You have extra damage to structures that you're fighting, so when you're fighting other Kuzans or someone like a Harvey Monet, which you probably won't run into because that character doesn't exist anymore. A lot of wall users are just bad now because the game just said no to wall users, but yeah, be what it be. You have the ability to switch classes, which is fantastic. You can, instead of just sitting like a defender being idle on your flag the whole time, you are able to go and push and help your team get some things done, unlike other defenders. So it is kind of nice, it's very helpful, so you can kind of contribute a little bit more than your average defender. You have wall protection, so you have your skill 2 makes an ice wall. This actually helps you a lot for the skills that are not able to go through walls. This allows you to at least block some damage that could be coming your way. On top of that, you have a press and hold for your basic attack, which shoots your pheasant beak ability. It does knock back people, so it is nice for fighting someone like a Dark Runner Roger, who's going to be constantly on your flag trying to take your flag, so you are able to put a stop to him. And lastly, you are immune to immobilizing status effects, so you don't have to worry about that when you're on your flag as a defender. You are immune to those, so you don't have to worry about getting either petrified or tremored or things like that, but there are other things that you're not resistant to. Speaking of that, let's get into the cons. Honestly, you don't have too many. You have two major ones, and that is your things that flows into who your counters are. Your major cons are anti-heal, because most anti-heal lasts 45 seconds. I think the minimum anti-heal that can be applied is 15 seconds, so that is a long time without the ability to heal, which means you can't sustain yourself to bring yourself back up to a healthy amount of HP. So watch out for characters and units that can anti-heal. A lot of them are being played in the meta right now, and we'll get to those in who counters you, because a lot of people are just playing that to counter Kuzan. Also, ignore defense abilities, so things that doesn't matter how much defense you have, if it ignores defense, it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt a lot. Since you're a defense buffer, that's usually what makes you so tanky. You don't have too large amounts of damage reduction. You do circumstantially, but there is a trait that you have that if you take more than 50% HP, in your HP bar, you will get 50% damage reduction, which will reduce it significantly in the amount of damage that you take. So it does kind of help. You do kind of have a mitigator there that usually prevents you from getting one shot. Now let's talk about the characters you beat. Generally, since you are the brand new EX, you destroy a lot of and almost all older units. So that's kind of how this game works, large amounts of power creep. If you're watching this a year or two later, just keep in mind, I'm sure Kuzan has been power crept by now, but at least as of the meta right now is things like Light Shanks, Dark Garp, S Snake, Dark Roger, Kuzan. These are the type of units that are being played in the meta at this very moment in time. Red Runner Yamato was buffed, so things like that. The major characters that you beat are things like S Snake. You can beat Dark Roger. You counter things like that. I think it's easier to say who counters you at this moment in time, because there's a lot of characters that you beat and you don't really struggle with. So generally, you destroy any and all units who are not immune to status effects, things like that. That mainly status effects. If they're not immune to status effects, you're probably going to destroy them, except for a few people who have niche workarounds. Either they heal from getting status effect, or they have 80% reduction in status effect time. Moving on, let's talk about some Kuzan counters. Now, I'm trying to make these scale into the future, so if anyone who's watching this later on, the main things I said that counter you will fall into your cons. So it's anti-healers and ignore defense users. So the current ones that exist in the game at this moment of this video are Red Runner Yamato, who applies anti-heal on her abilities, and on top of that, she just doesn't die. She's really annoying, and she's a wedge. She will not get off your flag, and she will not stop wailing her bat on your cheeks and just crushing your ice over and over and over again, and it's really obnoxious. So if you have a teammate who can deal with her, do it, and if you can try and avoid dealing with her, I would just leave her, because it's just not worth getting anti-healed for literally a third of the game from 45 seconds. And if they're running Warlord support, or whatever that gives them, Whitebeard support, whatever that inflicts their status effect for longer, I forgot which one it was at this time, it could be even longer. So 45 plus 30% of that, whatever that may be, is a very long time, and it's way too long in a 3-minute game. Nevertheless, that's Yamato. The next is Light Shanks, who also applies a 45-second anti-heal on an ability that also ignores defense. So watch out for his Kamusari, that can hurt. It's a fairly slow animation, so you generally can dodge it, but sometimes you freak yourself out, and it's kind of hard to tell which one he's going to use, because his two skills, the wind-up animation, you're kind of just ready to dodge whatever movement he makes, so it's things to be careful of when you're fighting him. Anyways, the next one, as of this moment in this game, is CP0 Lucci, as he has the ability to stop you from basic attacking, because he has that claw effect, which disables people who have press and hold skills or basic attacks. They'll not be able to use that. So someone like Lucci's claw effect really hurts you, because you can't even basic attack back to him. Now, if you have more than one Kuzan on your team, it is possible to deal with the Lucci's, and you can't get too much done because the Kuzans can back each other up. But 1v1 scenarios, you generally want to avoid Lucci at all costs. So, as I said, the major things are ignore defense and anti-heal. That's your main counters for Kuzan. We'll see what future units come. I'm sure they'll add some characters that destroy. Maybe Akainu is going to get buffed. EX red attacker Akainu could potentially come and destroy Kuzan. We don't know yet. Is to be determined. Alright, now let's talk about some medal recommendations. These are, I just want to emphasize that these are not the end-all be-all. These are not necessarily the world's greatest sets, but these are some general sets that will be really good on Kuzan that you could build if you have available. Now, I don't know if you're starting a new account or what you have to work with. Resources, medals, and fragments can be very difficult to come by depending on if you're a new player. So these you don't have to have, but these are some of the better options, and these are some really great all-around sets that you could build, and not just use on Kuzan, but use on other characters. So, without further ado, a pure attacker focus is going to be more of this Katakuri set. It gives you some damage reduction, gives you large amounts of damage increase. The only thing you're missing is capture speed, but you're not really a runner, so it's not absolutely necessary, but it is kind of painful when you have to take a flag because your cap speed is so slow. So the Kuzan, or the Katakuri one, I keep mixing those up. The Katakuri medal set is pretty solid if you want to play more into the attacker role. If you want to do the opposite and play purely more into defender role, you have a large amounts of damage reduction from this Enel set that can go a long ways, and it also gives you a little extra skill 1 cooldown when you're on your flag and above 70% HP. I think just being above 70% HP is the scenario. Then you have Kaido set, as always, pretty solid. That one kind of flips back and forth between attacker and defender, and you can mix and match different Kaidos or any of his crew. If you have any of the Beasts, Animal Kingdom Pirates tags, you can mix and match a lot of those. Those are some options. Other Charlotte family members that mount Dior medal, gives you cooldowns on both skills, is really nice. So you have a variety of things that you can take. I just want to emphasize, if you're a new player, you have 3 major categories that you can go. You have the Animal Kingdom Pirates, which is all of Kaido's crew. Those fit fairly well together. You have the Straw Hat Pirates that generally can fit decently well together. Not as crazy, but they can fit pretty well together. And then the Charlotte family medals. There's a bunch. You can just search and sort by tags. I'll let you explore to your heart's content. In the game, you kind of can just filter by tags and kind of look at which ones mix and match well, but Charlotte family ones do go together fairly well. And then the last bit is the Seraphims. They're a bit newer. They work really well for more defender oriented Kuzan, but they do pretty well. You get the knockback heal, you get the damage reduction from S-Snake, and then you get the either damage reduction or damage increase while being above 70% HP with the S-Hawk medal. And then they have the triple tags on all of those as well, which goes a long way. So triple tags I really like a lot. You don't have to have those, but they're nice, and then you can feel the difference when you're using them. So anyways, you guys, that is my overall Kuzan guide. I hope you guys found this useful. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe if you did. Let me know how you guys feel about how Kuzan is in the meta. Are you guys enjoying him? Is he really annoying for you? What do you guys think? But that's all I have for you guys. I'm Romanpuss, and I'm going to be taking off. Yeah, peace, beautiful people.